ministry from the Memphis Christian Center at 11 a.m. Central Time and 12 noon Eastern Time on In Touch Radio.
Good morning and welcome to In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. My name is Clinton Paris, and I am the host of this morning's show, Straight Up the Middle. I am in studio, and I'm happy to have you with me this morning, none other than the great Professor Tony Seabrook. Good morning, Professor. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
You listen, we come in here on Saturday, and it's like a race to catch up with all the stuff that's happened in 1 week. And this week was full packed, jammed with stuff. Some of it right down the middle dealing with politics. Some of it on the tertiary, on the fringes of politics. But there's just a lot of stuff that just happened this week. And then, as I was telling you before we got started, I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to go out and do some yard work this morning. And, man, did my sinuses flare up. My throat got scratchy. My eyes got watery. I'm in the house. I've doctored myself. I'm on a couple of different drugs to bring it back to normal. Not the same stuff that Joe Biden was on, but I'm on some stuff.
I was going to say Hunter, but my bad.
I'll listen at you, man. The man has a medical condition.
It's called powder. That's what it's called.
So, anyway, good morning to you. I mean, I'm sure you had a full week as well. I don't even want to. Before we start with the Super Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk a little about Super Tuesday. It's almost like that didn't happen. I don't know if it was even really Super Tuesday because you knew the outcome. The only question would be whether or not Nikki Haley would drop out the race afterwards. And she did. What were your expectations for Super Tuesday going into it?
Well, I knew Trump would run the table. I didn't think he'd be as competitive in Vermont as he was. He
didn't run a Boston, though. He did.
Well, 15 out of 50. He really did because Biden had no one running against him. His major component, they're ostracizing the guy. They won't.
Yeah, but Trump didn't win all the Republican primaries. He didn't win them all. He lost Vermont. He lost.
Well, that's 14 out of 15.
That's not a Boston.
Well, I didn't say run the I say he ran the run the table, Boston. I get it now. But still, 14 out of 15, not too shabby for a guy with 91 charges. Not too shabby.
You're right. I think just think of that. Just think. Guy with 91 charges, and he still can hold on to that much support.
Well, because 90 of them are trumped up.
I don't know what they do.
Pun intended.
So your expectation was pretty much.
Yeah.
What about the percentage? Look, she was getting about 20, 23, 24% in some places. What is that of concern?
No, not a concern at all.
I worry about in the Republican Party, who are the people voting for Nikki Haley? I wonder, are they the never-Trumpers? Are they traditional Republicans? Are they independents? Are they Democrats? I really want to, because if he's going to get those voters, he's got to kind of identify. What are your thoughts? Who are the Republicans voting for Nikki Haley, you think?
Well, I think the demographic are the educated, the degreed, suburban population, certainly women, and some moderate Democrats who just think Joe Biden is too old. But I don't think that pool is genuine. I think there's just so much anti-Trump out there. You just don't know what her supporters. You just don't know the makeup, and that's what they say statistically. I mean, that's what they list, but you don't know. And I just don't know because never Trumpers, anti-Trumpers on the Democratic side, never Trumpers on the Republican side. There's no holds barred in what they're going to do to stop Trump.
I would love to see, and I couldn't find it. I went looking. If the people who didn't vote for Trump in 20 are the same people voting for her, and if they are the same group voting for her, how do we get those people? How do Republicans get those people to come back and vote for Trump?
This is how I look at it, and I hadn't heard you mention it. I hadn't heard anyone mention it, and I've been trying to get a clever way. I mean, you run the table with all the clever ways of saying things. Look how well Trump's doing with 4 indictments, 91 charges. and I've said this, he's running the same race as Biden, but he has a weight jacket on. He hadn't even announced his VP. See, Biden can't announce anything else. He's stuck. That campaign is what it is. Once Trump announces a VP that can pull moderate votes, it's almost a wrap. I mean, look how well he's doing with this weight jacket on that he has to run with 91 charges. He can't even campaign like he wants to because he's going to be in court because he still wants that picture. He wants to show that grimace, that whatever he does when he knows the camera's on him. Look how well he's doing when he's not on the campaign trail. And just imagine, because he's going to get a bump. He can't go down with a VP pick because Trump's already been baptized by fire. He's already been through this. He knows now what the whole presidency is like. He knows probably his demeanor. He knows a lot of things he's done wrong. Whether or not he's going to admit it or not, that's besides the point. He won't pick another Mike Pence. He won't pick anybody like a Mike Pence. So when he picks that female, it's going to bring in what Kamala Harris can't bring. See, they're already at their ceiling. And they're hoping they can muddy Trump up. That's what all this indictment was about. Muddy him up enough that he's just going to be unattractive. It has shown no sign of real effectiveness. All the polls say, I think the highest, like 30% said if he's convicted, especially of the RICO charges in Georgia, that may affect their voting. Or what's going on with Fonnie Willis now. That case is real suspect. And even if they don't take her off, it's already muddy. So I don't think that 30% is real accurate now. He's going to get some of those voters back.
There are a list of presumptions tied to that analysis. The one presumption is somehow holding Donald Trump legally accountable for his behavior is intended to affect him politically. I'm not completely convinced of that part. I do think there's an effort to say it's time you be held accountable.
So let's take that. I don't think everyone, all Republicans, even the diehards, are saying that he's a choir boy. But if we know from, and I don't know how true this will be, I don't know what the exact statistic is, but we know that there are many members in Congress that have felony charges. We know there's some that have sexual charges. So that doesn't make Trump all that bad. I mean, what makes his charge, and most of them are trumped up or just bogus charges. And so there may be some credence to these other charges, but we all know, you've seen the same statistics from the first indictment, second indictment, his poll number goes up. And now with this whole Letitia James, the way she's tweeting out, I got this much money. I mean, she's taking too much of a little victory lap with that decision, and it's only helping Trump. So to say that he's being held accountable for his charges when Congress has the lowest approval rating, and it's partly because people know that there are no choir boys either. Now you want to hold this guy.
Right, one more time. He is being held individually.
Or
there is no, mass meeting somewhere. Decide how do we X, Y, and Z.
Of course there is. There's coordination.
I disagree.
Well, so all these charges, how do they get them so coordinated that, you know what, he has 2 court dates? Heck, I've had 2 court dates on the same date. The average Joe can tell you that's a coordination effort.
But the amount of coordination that would take and secrecy, I just don't think you have it in today's society.
But I
mean, if they had 2 court, for example, to get those 2 court dates, you're saying 2 different judges and 2 different jurisdictions and 2 different kinds of courts somehow got the same phone call and said, "Hey, you get him Wednesday and I'll get him on Tuesday."
I didn't say they had them all at the same. They were talking. I didn't say there was a one conference call and they set it out. But there's coordination.
Yeah, but you got one judge. She's a Trump appointed judge. You've got a prosecutor, a Trump-appointed and I'm just saying that the magnitude of coordination of different people with the expectation they would keep it quiet.
But you're steeped in history. You're steeped in history. So when we found out what happened, all the coordination, the reason why they won't release all the JFK files and blah, 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 we found out about the FBI, what we found out about the CIA. Once we find out, we go, man, this is crazy. It's always after the fact. Yeah. And it's decades later. So you're trying to tell me that you would be just blown out of your chair if you find out there was some coordinated effort there?
I at the magnitude that you're indicating, because you've got about 5 different cases. You've got at least 4 different jurisdictions. You got federal court in New York, state court in New York, federal court in D.C., state court in Georgia, federal court in Florida. So, but getting back to the expectations for Super Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't expect Nikki Haley to do that good. I really thought, and I thought.
What do you call good? 2 states?
Yeah, I thought she'd get nothing. I really thought she'd be 2-3%. I thought she'd be like Kennedy.
Kennedy's been. Why do you think? And so, I'm just amazed. You think that Kennedy is not doing as well because he's afforded the same access? You don't think that the DNC and the Democrats aren't, keeping him at bay, not giving him the same?
No, he's not. No one's. Let me say this: America's taught me as a black man, no one gets the same anything. I don't care if you go to McDonald's and order the same set of fries the guy behind you ordered. You are going to have a different set of fries than his fries. So the equity piece, you get what you get. And I don't know what that is. I mean, to say that the DNC is in the fix for Biden.
When he got attacked, when JFK got attacked on the stage, and he was saying that the DNC wouldn't even afford him security.
Not entitled to. It's a private organization. Not entitled to it. They make their own decisions. Kind of like Republicans decided.
But they made a decision not to do it.
Not to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
You don't waste money. I mean, the guy's not going to win. And let me say this. Let me just say this right quick. The DNC's job is to do what benefits the DNC. He doesn't benefit.
What benefits the DNC?
Getting rid of him and giving Joe Biden
a
clear runway.
They said when you said the quiet part.
Yeah, I get that.
So the DNC is dealing with his most formidable opponent. That's why they're not doing Dean Williams and Marianne Williamson.
Trump actually got to pick the person to run the RNC, the Republican National Committee.
Mm-hmm.
They've been paying his legal bills. This is how those things work. So I'm not saying that, now let me say this. If you have 2 or 3 people and they are actually competitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't expect the DNC to put its hand on the scale. But in this case, it is a waste of money and time. The only benefit is having some people hear different voices and have an outlet to express themselves that may be of value. But as far as Kennedy first, I can't understand what he's saying.
I know that's the annoying part. I wish he had.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't understand what he's talking about. The second thing is, what he's promoting. I mean, I've listened to him a couple of times. I'm thinking that guy sounds crazy. I mean, literally though, he's like a kook. And just because a kook comes out the closet and says, "I want to run for office," you don't put your money into it. Now, let me say this: but Republicans can do what you're accusing Democrats of doing, Nikki Haley. Republicans can support him. They can donate money. But guess what?
Just want to make sure it's on record.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, though, I just think that I thought Trump would do better on Tuesday than he did. I really did.
You thought he'd get off 15?
I thought he'd get off 15. I didn't know where she was going to get votes from. I'm trying to think who are the Republicans, who's left in the Republican Party that will support someone like her, who's well-spoken, who's vigorous, who has international and foreign experience, who seems to espouse a reasoned, balanced perspective of America, someone who can appeal to independents, Democrats, and Republicans. And I was thinking to myself, who would support her? Not this Republican Party. And sure enough, they're there, which scares me.
Why does that scare you?
Because we need those people supporting Biden. We need reasonable.
Biden has enough, and we're going to get over to his speech, but Biden has enough problems himself. Again, he's at his ceiling. There's no new campaign for him, Kamala. It's what you have.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take our first break, come back on the other side, talk a little bit more, if we could, then about some of the other things that happened this week. Of course, we
talk about Smoking Joe when we come back.
We'll talk about the State of the Union. We can talk a little bit about the response to the State of the Union, Nikki Haley dropping out, what that means. We'll be right back after this quick break. In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody can be a star.
Touch Radio, the most loved station across the nation. In Touch Radio. Tell a friend. In Touch Radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 1-800-361-RICK. That's 1-800-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
When you've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
In Touch Radio is smooth soul.
Rocking your radio on the sounds of soul.
Playing your favorite R&B. In Touch Radio.
We're back live with the Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. In the studio with Professor Tony Seabrook. Let me give out the call-in number in case anybody wants to call in. The call-in number is 813-444-9588. I've gone over the strategy how you become a good caller on this show. First of all, you don't have to be you. You can be anybody you want to be, and you can be anywhere. It's kind of like working remote. You can just be whoever and whatever. But if you want to share your thoughts, your comments, feel free to call in 813-444-9588. Also want to give a quick shout out, if I could, to we had the passing last week of Dr. Carl Warren. And let me say, here's why Dr. Carl Warren is a significant figure in Tampa. Not just because he was a great Kappa man, but Carl Warren actually participated in lawsuits to create the single member districts in Hillsborough County. It was he and his father led that effort. Actually, were named in the lawsuits. The lawsuits were eventually consolidated. Finally, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund got involved. But I just want to give a shout out and let people know, look, things that we benefit from all of our society, they don't just exist. People sacrifice, work hard to make those things exist. And today, Dr. Warren is being laid to rest. And I just want to give a shout out to him and his family and keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Getting back to the professor, we were talking about the Super Tuesday election. And like I said, I thought Nikki Haley bowing out. And that was a couple of things I was looking for in that process. The one is, so when someone's campaigning, it's like a business operation. there are tons of people that have put their lives on hold. They've gone on the road. You know, when Nikki Haley shows up for an event, she's got an advanced team that comes in town and they, you know, sets up things. They rent space. Somebody's got to do all that work. And when you suspend the campaign, all those people lose their jobs. It's a screeching immediate halt of a business that is fully operational suddenly. And so I think there's a lot of thought that needs to go into suspending a campaign and how it happens, when it does. So I was looking to see how she would do that. And I thought she really probably went into Super Tuesday not planning to stop the campaign.
I don't know why not. It was no shock. Even you just said you thought he went off 15.
You know, I don't know.
Why
What,
wouldn't
because she kept going for South Carolina. And I was really trying to think, what is her end game? You know, a long time ago for me, it's been clear the Republicans don't want her. That's clear. So I've been trying to think, what's her real? Is it 28? Is it just to undermine him? She doesn't seem like a vindictive person. I don't think she hates Donald Trump. From what I can gather, she has a genuine belief he's just not good for the country. He doesn't reflect traditional Republican and conservative values. So I didn't see a reason that she would suspend her campaign. But campaigns are businesses, and if your financial supporters tell you, hey, the money's dried up, that's what I think ended the campaign for her. I think her money people called her and said, look, going forward, we don't see a reason to keep, dumping money in this campaign. I told somebody one time who asked me to donate to their campaign. And I said, I don't waste my money. You need to demonstrate you have a good chance of winning. Not that you hope you win, you think you'll win and all that, And so I gave some money, and a couple of weeks later, this person said they're dropping out the race. And I said, very kindly, you need to give me back my money then. Because I don't support campaigns that don't go to that, because I'm supporting you to see that you win. So we got a call on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello, caller?
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were talking to me or not.
Yes, I am. Yes, yes.
I just have a question. Thank you. I just have a question because I heard one of the hosts this morning mention that there are other political, congressmen who have felony charges as well. And I just don't feel like that's a good exoneration of Trump. My personal opinion is all of them, regardless of party, if they have any charges, they should face justice just like anyone else should. And it kind of makes me feel like when I have children and you're trying to teach them to do right and wrong, and I tell my child, well, you're punished because you didn't clean your room, and they say, well, the neighbor's child doesn't have to clean his room. I don't care about that. Right is right, and I expect my political leaders to have more morals, more convictions, more character than to just say, well, other people have felonies, so we should not prosecute Trump. I just don't think that's a good excuse for him not facing justice.
Well, let me ask you a question.
And also, on
go
the
ahead.
Democrat side, typically when Democrats, when their leaders have problems, they confront them, they expel them. They don't try to rally behind them and make excuses for why they should stay in power.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Trump's charges and any criminal charges against someone in Congress are a disqualifier?
I do. I think it's a disqualifier that the voters should, respond to. I know there was questions about whether or not he should be allowed on the ballot in Colorado, and I think he should be allowed, but I think the voters should look at the type of person he is and make the right decision, and they should individually disqualify him, because I certainly wouldn't want to vote for someone who's said and done the things that he's done.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much for calling in. We appreciate your thoughts and comments, and of course, we appreciate you listening into the show.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Professor, look,
Well, let me respond to that.
Yeah.
I never said that Trump shouldn't be prosecuted. I was bringing out the fact that he's no worse than most of the congressmen we already have that has the lowest approval rating.
He's worse.
The other thing about him being on the ballot, the voters have already spoken. Trump didn't just gain the lead. He just didn't become the Republican nominee. He always was the front runner. So to say that we need to hear from the voters, you know that by the polls. But you don't want to hear that. And when the voters
No, we don't mind hearing that.
Okay, here's the thing. So we've already passed Super Tuesday.
Correct.
He needs, 100-something to go.
Correct.
People still question. Even this morning you were questioning, how do we get these voters? People still question, why is Trump there? When the voters are saying, we want him
I know
there.
why he's there.
No.
Oh,
But
Hillary told us a long time ago why Trump is there.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, but still, the point is the voters, the Republican voters have spoken, but at every juncture, there's a question. But also at every juncture, there's a Democrat trumped up charge trying to pull him back. And you guys I said it before, if you just leave him alone, Trump will knock himself out of the race. He would say something that's so off color, so off-putting, even his own voters would go. And I have a friend up in Clearwater, Maryland. I mean, the guy looks like a doomsday prepper. My buddy from the Navy. Loved Trump the first term. He is not so much a Trump lover now. Now, here's what happened in between the first term and now is he gave his life to the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if that affected it, but he doesn't like how Trump talks. And I'm going to stop here. Caller, who do we have?
Good morning, Professor. Good morning,
Carl.
good attorney.
Carl the trucker.
This
Country Carl the trucker. Good morning, Carl. Good morning. What's on your mind this morning?
Yes, I am feeling really good and in good spirit. Listen to the State of the Union. The president came out and challenged and gave everybody a good clear view how his age and his strength. He even jabbed at Trump a couple times.
Couple times, it's 13. That would be 13.
Okay, 13. Okay,
well, let me ask you, Carl. Let me ask you about the State of the Union address. We're going to talk to that in the next segment. But what were you expecting from him in the State of the Union? Not what you got, but what did you expect?
I expect him to come out and address the union, but I didn't think it would be as intense as as high as it was. He really he stepped his game up, and he showed people that his age is not a factor, and and his knowledge and his wisdom, and his empathy, and all his accomplishments, and what he wanted to do and what he's trying to do, and he did a lot of campaigning, and he just cleared all the doubts. Everybody that thought he wasn't a good president.
While we got you on the phone, I'm going to go ahead and throw you a softball and say, did you listen to the response?
I would say they had to get somebody to carry the bomb. They had to get somebody to carry the bomb.
Carry the bomb.
Carry the ball.
Somebody had to get somebody to carry the bomb, man.
No, the bomb. Anything that she said or did made you go, wait a minute, we need to be concerned about this?
About her?
Just in a response. Anything that she said, well, whoa, okay, we better pay attention to this. Anything?
No, that was nothing. It was wicked. Nothing she said resonated with, it was, she was way off point. She, they gave her the bomb and she took it.
Gotcha, though. Okay.
They gave her the bomb and she took it. She didn't really think it through.
Well, we appreciate you as always, Carl, listening to the show, calling in. More importantly, you keeping the economy of this country rolling by delivering products up and down the highways. Thanks a lot for calling in, and be safe out there on the road. There we go. Now, I wonder, I mean, can you bow? It's not like, can you have a hand? It sounds authentic. It sounds authentic. You know, but I just wonder, can he have a little cup, little horn thing that he can blow though? So let's do this. Let's take another break here, come back on the other side, kind of talk about Biden's performance in the speech, and then get to that response. You're listening to In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody can be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charles, Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 1-800-361-RICK. That's 1-800-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. Again, my name is Clint Paris. Just had Carl the trucker call in and give some thoughts about the State of the Union, and we kind of teased the response. But I'm in studio here with the professor. I want to remind everybody to call in number 813-444-9588. And let me say this, I live with my thoughts all the time. I really appreciate hearing other people's thoughts. So if you have some thoughts or comments or whatnot, feel free to call in. You don't even have to be you. You could be somebody else. Just make up a pseudo name or whatever you want to do. But give us a call if you want to, 813-444-9588. All right, Professor. So Joe Biden, State of the Union address. Let me go first, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
I was going into the State of the Union, and I was extremely concerned that he might have a Mitch McConnell moment where he mentally loses it or he gets lost. I speak in public sometime, and I get lost, in my material and have to find my way, and sometimes people have to help you find your way. I was very concerned that's what would happen. The other thing I thought I was concerned about was he's not the greatest speech. He's not Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan or Barack Obama, so he doesn't have that oratory ability to move people emotionally. So historically, I was concerned also then that we're going to get this boring speech, and in the process, people will be further turned off from another presidential term for him. That was my concern going in, and so I was happy to see during the speech he clearly, hour-plus speech. It wasn't too long, but during the speech he was able to keep his energy level up. He kept his intensity level up. The Republican description was angry, fiery. Words like, why is he yelling so much?
Yeah.
Those kind of combative, things of that nature. But they didn't say he was Lazy Joe. He was not that.
Right.
So the main thing is he demonstrated I can muster the energy and vigor to confront the moment that I need to as president. And so for that reason, I was happy about that. The next thing was the information.
Right.
I was surprised that at the outset, the conversation, his comments went directly to Ukraine. I thought most Americans could care less about Ukraine, really.
2 years later,
Unless you draw a direct line to something that impacts people's lives, what's happening in Ukraine, if in this modern world, the global economy will allow us to trade with Russia or Ukraine, why do we really care who's in charge and running the country? We've demonstrated as a country, we will deal with about anybody to make a dollar or two. So from that perspective, the fact that Ukraine may be run by Russia, I don't know that most Americans drill down to it. I think that's risky not to, but I don't think they care it that much. And so that overture out the box. I didn't think his speech addressed the immigration issue clearly enough. What's happening at the border, due to some of the things done by Governor Abbott, are rippling through the rest of the country. Chicago, New York, other cities are like, hey, these immigrants are landing in our cities and displacing some of our people and costing us money. I didn't think he addressed it enough to say why the border has been run like it has been run, why that was good for America, right? And then why we now need to do this new thing that he's talking about and trying to blame the Republicans. I did love the finish. I love when he said, I am president of all Americans. And he gave an upbeat, positive kind of rap towards the end of it. I liked him taking a couple shots at Trump.
There would be 13 shots.
13 shots were good. I thought they were appropriate shots. None of the shots were below. No one said, and by the way, your wife's a foreigner. Nobody said, he didn't go below the belt. You know what I mean? He didn't go. His
That's
comments.
True.
But he was. The comments he made were, I thought, appropriate for the political climate we're in now. This isn't the 1920s, even the 1980s.
But a climate his administration contributes to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it's like our
political climate.
Absolutely, absolutely. We all contribute to it. It is what it is now. So those are some of the things that I would say about the State of the Union that I took away. The one thing I didn't like, I would have preferred if he had ignored the efforts by Republicans to knock him off off the script.
Absolutely.
If he could have done that a little better. Now, he did have a couple of comebacks, but in the comebacks, he looked old. I mean, I don't know, he's reaching for a badge. He says the young lady's name wrong. He's trying to respond to Marjorie Taylor Greene. He did get a nice little zinger in with Lindsey Graham. I think Lindsey yawned or something. And he said, I know you're tired already, Lindsey, but, got a few more things. So I thought that. But anyway, I thought overall, though, I would have given him probably, if I was giving him a grade, a B+ for the State of the Union. Those are my comments. Your thoughts.
And I like it. And it was pretty balanced. Pretty balanced for
Come on, straight up the middle.
Okay.
I'm in the middle. We say it all the time.
I'm all the way on the right. So, but I will say, and we text about this. Joe came out looking lively. He was on task. It was obvious that he'd taken those 3 days because that was a hit that I was seeing that Joe Biden is pretty much.
You think that's all he took?
Oh, maybe more than that. But there was a point where he didn't have anything on his calendar for like 3 days straight, and they were like, "Well, he did a luncheon with someone, but that's it." Right. So surely he rehearsed this, and he did. In my text to you, he did what he needed to do. I mean, I was almost disappointed. It's like, man, he's not even going to mess up. I just left. It was boring. I mean, it was long, right. So I started driving.
Well, for State of the Union, it wasn't long.
Well,
it was just a little over an hour.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And admittedly, Joe Biden's State of the Union is much better. He's a better spokesman than Trump. I can say that.
Just a speak. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And statesman. I'll give him that. He's a statesman and a better speaker. Now, so he had good energy, but he was angry, and he came across.
What was he angry about?
That's a part of him showing his zest. I'm still the man.
You say anger. I would say intensity.
No. Democrats say intensity.
Yeah.
We say angry because he was scowling, and it's like, okay, we get it. It's your moment, and he was really doing well. Then he became a bit Al Gore-ish, what I did and what happened in my administration. Okay, I'm like, we've been doing sustainability efforts for about 20 years now, Joe. You didn't start that, but my administration is going to do this and other. And then he was partisan. It was almost hyper partisan. But you said that's the political climate, so I'll give him that. Now here's where where he was disingenuous. The budget, just like when Ed called in last week, the 15 million jobs. I mean, those things just aren't true. Now, if you say someone went to work, that might be true. You can say, man, I did 14, 15 million jobs. But how many jobs were jobs where I got my job back from the pandemic, from the shutdown that this administration had a hand in? 70% of those. From 21 to 23 were jobs that I got back.
So I don't know if people do how they calculate the jobs, but they do it the same way who was in office. It's kind of like unemployment. It's kind of like stock market. The calculation process is the same. So to say that you need to use a different kind of formula.
No, I don't think that's a good analogy because when you hire a new employee, then you have to account for employee packet. But when I'm bringing someone back on that already had an existing packet, no, I'm not doing anything new. If I had to furlough you, you're not a new employee, so I don't have to do a new employee orientation. So there are costs that are associated with new employee, and you know that because you're a business person. So it's not the same. It's just disingenuous. But no one's going to really know that. The same with the budget. He didn't cut trillions of dollars off the budget.
Hold on for a minute. If I lay someone off, is that a lost job?
It can't be a lost job because you laid them off. If you didn't replace them,
but at the moment I don't. I mean, I'm not like, it's not like I fire somebody and I hire somebody else. If I lay somebody off and at some point in time my business turns around and I need new employees and I bring that person back, that's a new hire.
It's a new hire, but that person not saying, hey, I got a job. No, I got my job back.
I bet you they're telling you that I got a job.
Yeah, if they're getting more money, that's one thing. But I think it's just a job. Now,
I will say
tomatoes, tomatoes.
The calculation's the same. You get credit for it. I think that's a low lose.
But
that's
still,
not lying.
So it's being disingenuous. You didn't say I was. He could gain some points for saying, I was instrumental in helping those people who lost their jobs to get their jobs back. That's credit. But to say I created, no, that's just misleading. You didn't create that many jobs. People got their jobs back. At least say because we had to shut the economy down, but he didn't want to bring that back. He didn't want to bring those members back.
I agree. So you want to count that as like a.
Well, he's just being disingenuous, just being misleading. So the other thing is with the budget. He didn't.
That's all you got. That's what you got. That's it. Well, out of all that speech,
if you take those two off, see, that's how he was building himself up. That's a part of showing what I've done in my.
What he's saying is, he's generally saying the economy is doing well. Is what he's trying to say.
Well, here's why he can't really say that. He has to put those extra fillers in because the CPI is up. the cost of goods, that whole basket that they create, it's up. We know portfolios are good. That's not helping Black America, most of Black America. That's not helping us. So when you try to put all these lofty numbers like we discovered last week, the Black unemployment rate is 5.3%. And if you tell me that the unemployment rate is 3.6, but the Black employment rate is 5.3, it was 5.0 under Trump, you're not doing well. But I need to tell you some other things.
5.3 is still a good unemployment rate.
For who?
For whoever. That's a good rate. In the world, it's a good rate.
Well, historically, the benchmark for the United States has been 3.6 or something like that.
Right, but you're talking about the Black unemployment rate at 5.3.
Well, again, if you want the Black vote, this is about election year. We got 8 months to go. And you're up here hollering and trying to show everybody you still got whatever it takes.
All right, get through the rest of your list, and you're going to run out of time.
Exactly. So let's go about the budget. He misled on the budget. He wants you to think that what he put in as far as big corporations paying 15% more, that didn't go until January 23. That didn't have anything to do with anything. So he just misleaded what I'm doing, the Al Gore part. This is what I did, but these things didn't take place. The jobs didn't happen, and the budget didn't happen. He was talking about the budget deficit. He wasn't talking about the national deficit. But if you don't know that, you tend to think, man, they just talking about Joe. Joe didn't do all that. That's my point.
Got it. Okay. Well, listen, let's take this break, come back on the other side, and let's get to the real juicy. Let's get to what really was significant, and that's the response.
Oh,
we will get to that. In Touch News Radio, reality radio, everybody can be a star. I think our professor's going to take another bathroom break and some more drugs and some other stuff and get a disguise so we come back. We'll be right back after this quick break.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
This is Attorney Clinton Paris. Accidents are beyond your control, but deciding who will represent you is your decision. If you've been injured, call me at the law office of Clinton Paris for a free consultation. 813-413-7924. Offices Riverview.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody can be a star.
I'm off of my list.
So, okay, anything else you want to highlight about Joe and the State of the Union that you think, hey, these were things where that dropped the needle low for him, and I don't know, he's gonna have to.
Well, the bar was low. The bar was low. You've admitted to it. We were glad he got through it. I was impressed. I was honest. I was impressed. I was almost disappointed that he didn't goof up, and I was not pleased with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, I know they were trying to throw him off his game. They wanted to see if he would get confused.
So one of the things I will tell you that I thought was really great. There's a clip going around on TikTok. So what I hear is he did not immediately, as in the past, some presidents have done, exit the chamber. He stayed in the chamber, and he talked to anybody that had wanted to talk with him. Mm-hmm. And he was approached. There's video of some congressman, I think he's from Oklahoma or Wyoming somewhere, who came up and said, Mr. President, I have an issue with forest fires and the forestry in my area and something that's going on with that. And he stood there and listened. Now, evidently, this is some heavy critic of his, hardcore Trumper, a MAGA person that's really lambasting him. Mm-hmm. And when the guy finished, Biden says to him, call my office. And then he turned to his staff and said, you all make sure you get him an appointment to see me, and we'll come up with something to deal with that. And I thought to myself, wow, that's leadership. I mean, it was interesting.
That's leadership? That's
right.
For the cameras.
Well, no, because he's still going, he's just walking, you know, he's walking through. And this one guy stops him. Great, the cameras were on him.
Yeah.
But the idea is, one, Trump wouldn't have acknowledged somebody like that even existed. If it was a Democrat.
Now you don't have that ability. You can't.
I can't. I've been watching Trump for years. The guy does not have a redeemable character in his whole spirit. But the way that was handled to me, I thought that's presidential. That's leadership. That's compassion.
He's a career politician.
So
he knows how to handle
hopefully, but anyway, so that was one of the things that I left thinking. Okay, I'm okay with this guy being in charge 4 more years.
Oh my goodness!
Even
because he said something. If the meeting took place and he was actually trying to engage the guy, that's when you can make that call. Now,
the fact that he got that far, I'm anyway. Let's talk about this response. We got Katie Britt, the junior senator from Alabama. I feel bad for Alabama right now, across the board, on a number of issues. First, Nick Saban says I'm out. I can't do it anymore, right? A couple years ago, Alabama puts up some pedophile to run for the Senate. Guy ends up he's been trolling and grooming teenage girls for decades.
Oh yeah.
So he gets run out.
Jeff Sessions.
Right. Then that wasn't Jeff Sessions.
No, I said Jeff Sessions. You know, he had his.
Then you get Jeff Sessions coming out of Alabama. He looks like a kook, and Trump had to tell him he had to get out of town. Then we get Tommy Tuberville, who almost shuts down the military because he wants other things to be done a certain way as it relates to reproductive rights and what the military can access. So he holds up all these promotions and things of that nature. Then we get the Supreme Court up there, who's adopted this ideology that Christianity is incorporated into its constitution, and they're basing legal decisions on those values, which it is.
It's not.
Then we get this, so we get the in vitro fertilization crisis that puts all these embryos in limbo and shuts down that industry. And then the Alabama Senate has to pretend like it has some sense and pass legislation to try to restore that. And after all these black eyes repeatedly coming out in Alabama, all this bad stuff in Alabama. Oh, no, I'm sorry. And Alabama announced, I think there's several HBCUs they're going to try to shut down. We then get Katie Britt coming out to give the State of the Union. And not like the Democrats, the Republicans have fumbled the State of the Union a number of times. I might even say if I was Republicans, I'm not going to do one. You got Bobby Jindal. He gets up there and it's just some mess. Then we get Marco Rubio. He gets cotton mouthed, and now he's got to swish water during the speech. And Katie Britt. It just was. I didn't know what she was doing. The first thing is they put this senator in a kitchen. They put a half-eaten apple pie on the counter in front of her. Like she really just either cooked this apple pie.
Cut it for her kids. You don't know, man.
Or she was eating this apple pie. And I'm trying to think of who are the geniuses that set up this. We're in a little studio at In Touch News. And I appreciate the effort to set the stage for us to do our little live streaming, to make it, fit the moment. I'm shocked at the brain trust at the Republican Party. They'll produce that. Now let's get to what she actually said. She was scary. She was manic. She oscillated from fear to almost crying.
Good observation.
I love thinking, what just happened to me? That I had sat through this speech from her, and what was the message? And then Tommy Tuberville, he came behind it. And he said these great comments. We picked her because she is a housewife. And I thought, since when is a senator a housewife? It spoke to his view of her skills, her professionalism. And that's really what they were trying to show, in some kind of way connect with suburban women and say something.
She could have been a housewife before she ran for office. You don't know that. Was she? I don't know.
That's what he said. She's a housewife. And I don't know what a housewife is. I really don't. Because there are very few women who are married and their exclusive functionality is in the house. See, housewives didn't drive. They didn't have credit cards. They couldn't get debt in their name.
But those are old definitions. You just said you don't know what a housewife is. The typical
Today,
Democrat.
because you don't have them, because guess what we figured out? It was almost like a pseudo form of slavery. We locked these women away in a house, and that's where you get to be the wife. Now women they're fully dynamic people, not defined by physicality or where they, operate. So I left it thinking, we're in good, because I think he should pick her for his running mate.
Who?
Trump. Katie Britt.
Nobody's
I'm promoting Katie Britt. I want Katie Britt.
Exactly.
I want Katie Britt. What do you take away from it when you?
Yeah, I could only listen to about maybe 5 minutes, and I was listening to it, and I was like, why is she talking like that? And then I saw the way she was sitting, and I saw the way she was moving around, and it seemed like a first-year drama student. Look down, and look up.
Intensity.
Yeah, it's like, I told my wife, no, I don't want to watch anymore. You can turn it off. But yeah, it wasn't genuine, and
you don't think that's really how she is?
I don't think she was faking her voice. She may speak like that, but I don't think her demeanor is that soft and giving, because you won't be an effective senator.
What makes you think she's effective?
Well, I know she's a junior senator. I don't know. What I'm saying is that type of demeanor in a Congress that's dominated by men, I don't think you'll have that type of personality, that type of demeanor, and do well, because it seems like that's what I'm looking for. That's what
I believe
no
that.
one's
No. See, Republicans want you to believe she's real. That's the crazy part about this.
Well,
I'm just saying this.
Stop it, because
I can say this. I'm gonna say this because you're independent. You're not a Republican.
Right.
They've made up some image of what republicanism is that's detached from reality, and that would make them think they could stick her in front of us, and we'd go, "Yeah, she is. She's really real." That lady's not. Of all the things we accuse Kamala of being disingenuous, right? And maybe Kamala's disingenuous off the cuff or whatnot. That was a production, and they took months to put that together. And that's what they came up with. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish, but what would you have liked, what would you have liked to have seen come out of the response to the State of the Union?
I think pointing out where Joe Biden was misleading, the border issues where he didn't want to talk about, talking about Lincoln, Riley. Those were the things that you obviously and should have capitalized on. Now, she talked about the border and that kind of stuff, but, again, just the production took away from her message. And she could have been just nervous. Maybe that's not how it was practiced, but you can't stop. It's a live. Now it's live.
Why is it live?
Why not have been live?
Let me say that. If it was me, next time I said we're going to be in a stadium and we're going to have this thing be a real speech to some real people, to give it some reality, though. So, professors, always, I appreciate you coming in, spending time here with us. More than that, I appreciate our listeners who listen in to us. Look, we have some fun with this stuff, but behind this stuff, it's serious. because we're in the season of choosing our next round of leadership for 4 years. So hopefully everybody's paying attention, getting involved, and making sure that your voices are being heard. So I want to encourage everybody to keep up the energy, keep up the focus, but most of all, when the time comes, get out and vote. We appreciate you listening in, and so hopefully we'll see you back here next week. This is In Touch News Radio. Reality, wait, I won't say it, but everybody can be a star.
You know what's going to happen next week.
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Tune in to In Touch Radio.
Let's share something about ourselves.
Reality radio, where everyone is a star. In Touch Radio.
5, you doing a remix or what?
Uh-huh.
Hey, yo, boss, let me get a... Yo,